Yeah, it's Friday, August 15th. Here on Boston has entered the chat inside our Salem 5 studios. Travis Thomas, just a guy. But we have the Kasey Hudson, the
I'm
legend.
just a girl.
The legend.
I'm just a girl.
Oh, we're going to sing some No Doubt now. See? You did that on purpose.
Oh, me.
She did that on
and
purpose.
I'm little. Good morning.
How are you?
I am fantastic. What a Friday it has been
Feels
already.
good.
It feels so nice. It's great day outside, but
Yeah,
I am also very excited to run home
And do what?
Relax.
What?
Do absolutely nothing. Relax.
Wait, like this weekend, you're going to like go out in New England, right? What are you doing?
Not a thing.
You're not doing anything?
No.
Hibernation?
Hibernation. That's because it's going to be a big weekend next weekend.
Oh, you're gearing
Friends
up.
coming into town, going
All
to
right.
see one of my favorite artists. I
right.
got this whole plan Thursday through Sunday, so I like to save
You're
the energy.
charging up.
Yeah. I'll be running around outside. I have a dog, obviously.
Well,
so.
right.
Yeah.
Go outside, take the dog, come back in, hibernate. Simple.
Easy peasy.
I respect it. Hey, we're talking basketball right here on this program as the Celtics schedule has released. We'll get into whether or not we like the schedule release or not. We'll get into that.
I
Plus,
think your basketball announcement was more exciting than the release, but we'll get to that, as he mentioned.
spoiler alert, Kasey doesn't like it.
Nope.
Also, we'll get you ready for Patriots preseason game number 2 against the Vikings in Minnesota. And remember this, you can catch Boston has entered the chat 8 a.m. on Nesson, 9 a.m. right here on Nesson Nation. We always ask you to call us too, 617-790-0928. You can tweet at us using the hashtag NessonChat. You can email us, thechat@nesson.com. But let's start with the Celtics. So before we get into the schedule, because I want to ask you, I don't know, a handful of games you're looking forward to. All these teams now and all these sports do these, grand over-the-top sort of like schedule release type things.
Yep.
The Celtics schedule release was a little more simple, which I thought I liked. But then hearing Kasey talk about it, I don't like this anymore.
I mean, let's say you, Boston, did you want a tour of Stop and Shop for your Boston Celtics schedule release
Come
in
on.
the era of social media where people are getting creative? Like, what is creative about this? Hey, Bob, while you're at Stop and Shop, can you drop some of these printouts around the aisles? Like, what the heck? That's what I got from this. I honestly wasn't sure what I was looking at. When there was like schedule release, I was like, okay, release it. I kept going to the Celtics Twitter page to be like, where is this? Like, actually release it. And
All I
I'm
keep
like,
seeing is produce. What's going on?
Seriously, like, come on now.
Okay, well, I thought I liked it because it was simple. But after hearing Kasey, she's right.
There's
Celtics,
simple,
we got to step the
and
game
then
up.
there's just like, it was out of the budget.
All right, so let's get into some games we like. I'm going to start in the year 2026. I'm in the future. February 22nd at the Lakers, it's Pat Riley statue night. I mean, Celtics, Lakers, you get that rivalry, of course. But then Pat Riley gets a statue. I want to see, A, if they mess it up. B, I want to see the Celtics beat the Lakers. I don't give a damn how bad the team's going to be this year. You still got to beat the Lakers.
I like that you circled this one because the Lakers are kind of notorious for mucking up schedules, or not schedules, statues. So then it's just like, what can go wrong with this statue? That's where my head's
It would have
at,
to be the hair, right? Because his hair is always perfect. He's a good-looking dude, the suits.
Yeah.
They can mess up that. I feel like the hair, they're going to mess it up.
Is where it's going to go.
I think so.
Mouth open or closed? Because it's the teeth for me. We talked about this with the other one.
You got to go close. He's like a GQ model, right? So it should be like Tom.
I was gonna say they got
to be
Toms,
good looking,
right?
But then the hair's the key. They can make or break that statue with the hair.
So everybody be on the lookout
I'm on
for
it.
the hair. All right, I didn't jump into the future quite yet.
Okay.
I started in October. I went with Celtics versus the Knicks. I just couldn't move past this one. Yeah, because for one, that heat that was brought in the postseason, the intensity, like there was just so many layers to it,
Yeah.
So I want to see how much of that carries over because you're talking about two teams that have had a wayward offseason. I think we can agreeably say. We don't know what to make of the Knicks. They new head coach in the mix, all of these things. And then you've got a Celtics team that's going to have to learn how to still be, I don't know, dominant enough without a Jason Tatum and see if there's any other moving pieces that take place before this roster solidified. So I feel like this is going to be one of those like attitude games.
Well, that game's on prime time. I'm looking at this. All the teams that have the most like prime time games, nationally televised games, the Celtics only have the 7th most, which is just showing you how much the NBA is changing and also showing you how the NBA knows this season is going to be a struggle bus for this franchise. They're behind the Thunder, Lakers, Warriors, Knicks, which all kind of makes sense. Timberwolves and Rockets and Nuggets are all ahead of the Celtics, so tough sledding for them. You mentioned that Knicks game. That's the second game of the season. That's at MSG. You open up against the 76ers, then you go to Detroit, you go to the Pelicans, you're home against the Cavs. Some of these are huge games. NBA Cup with the 76ers, Rockets here at home. These are just the first 10. Jazz at home, Wizards, so you get a couple wins there. And then the Magic, another NBA Cup game. First 10 games for these C's are tough. I'm going to go on the revenge tour here.
All right, talk to me.
All in January. I'm going to give you 3 teams, 3 players that are near and dear to all of our hearts. January 10th, Spurs. All these games are at TD Garden, by the way. Luke Cornett comes back against the C's. Portland, January 26th. Drew Holiday comes back against the C's. Although I am praying to the basketball gods that he is bought out and he's on a different team. But I don't see it happening. I think he's stuck in Portland. January 28th, ATL, shawty, Kristaps Porzingis comes to TD Garden. Assuming he's healthy. We still don't know what's up with Kristaps Porzingis. So I want to see all these guys who I miss come back to TD Garden. I imagine the crowd is going to show them love, right? And then the Celtics will probably lose to all those teams.
Absolutely. Well, I didn't mean absolutely to that part.
I meant
you really did. That's just active listening, everyone. Don't get caught up like I just did. But then to pop off the top of the year with all of the revenge, it's like they dialed it into January and said, let's just get the emotions out of the way and let's see what we can make of February, which is where I'm going.
Hey.
So February 3rd, look, I made it nice and easy. Cooper Flag, full stop.
Yeah.
You're just as excited as that schedule release, which just really hurts my feelings.
He's got to show me. I think he's going to be a great player. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a hater.
But think of it this way. Everything that he would have to work through in order to be like that NBA-ready guy, October, November, December, January, if you're not there by February, imagine the headlines being like, it's Cooper Flag, the real deal.
Fair.
Yeah. I like the confidence on this kid. I even like the cocky on this kid. He just is going to be one of those players that enough is never going to be enough in my eyes.
Sure.
And so he's going to work out any kinks in terms of getting situated at the NBA level.
I'm going season opener, 76ers.
Okay.
Now, obviously, it's a season opener, so there's always a hype around that. We get that. Everyone's excited. And everyone's team at that point is going to win the championship in their head, right? Because we haven't played actual basketball yet. So I get it. You have the hype of the season opener. But I like that it's the 76ers because, obviously, the rivalry. But I also feel like the Sixers and the Celtics right now are kind of even Stevens. I mean, they're both dealing with injuries. They're both trying to stay relevant this year in terms of the total NBA. I think in the Eastern Conference, if they can stay relatively healthy, both of them could be playoff teams because the East just isn't that good. But I think league-wide, these are 2 big brands that are probably right now down bad. And they're just trying to can we just have a really relevant season where we make the playoffs? Yeah, we don't want to be laughing stocks here. Last season, the 76ers certainly were, right? So I think that season opener with those 2 teams in particular, that's exciting to me.
Okay. I mean, you can't really ever burn the season opener too much.
And it's here, too. It's at TD Garden.
There you go.
What more do you want?
Hey, I can count on the energy of here in Boston. Kind of sticking with that big brand thing that you mentioned, the Orlando Magic made my list because, boy, oh boy, did that first round not go the way that one thought and designed. And now, again, we're talking about a season without Jason Tatum. And this is a team that's kind of been surprising in the postseason end, not just this year, but I believe last year also. And then I always give a shout out to my girl, Kendra Douglas, who is their team reporter. So I feel like they've been an interesting and exciting team.
I think Paolo Banchero is going to take the next step in his career. I think it's his time now. I think with the injury to Tatum, just the way the East kind of looks, you can't trust Cleveland. Detroit's coming, but their best player gets hurt a lot, and Cade Cunningham. This sort of feels like Paolo's time. And he plays with that absolute dog in him, too. He's a killer. I could see the Magic. Look, it's not sexy. Don't get me wrong here. I'm not proud to say this. But if you told me the Magic won the East and then got the hell beat out of them in the finals by whoever's, I wouldn't be shocked. I think Paolo is that good of a player where this could be the year where he takes that next step and they win the Eastern Conference and he's in conversations for MVP. I think he's that good. Now he's got to stay healthy.
Yes,
that's a big part of it. We've seen a little bit of injury, a little bit of wear and tear from Paolo. By the way, I want to get into this because I'm a nerd for stuff like this. I look at the TV aspect. The NBA is on every single night on different platforms. Mondays, it's Peacock. Tuesdays, NBC. Wednesdays, Peacock. Thursdays, Amazon Prime. Fridays, Amazon Prime. Saturdays, Prime and ABC. Sundays, ABC, NBC, Peacock. I mean, they got this right. We talk about the NFL, and we give them a lot of credit for this. The NBA followed that blueprint, and it's smart. I like the business the NBA is doing.
Yeah, I can actually agree to this because I still have some stresses when it comes to the NHL scheduling because everybody knows where my attention will be coming October. But yeah, when you kind of just have it completely strategized out in that sense and you know which platforms you're going to and the consistency of like, you know, Peacock, and then Amazon, like you're not, your head's not spinning trying to figure out where to watch your favorite teams or watch teams in general.
Sometimes it is with football.
It expands a little bit. The streaming side of it, you get to get outside of your region a little more. So good on the NBA on that one.
617-790-0928 if you want to talk Celtics schedule with us. Here's another thing I noticed. So the first thing I do with the NBA schedule is I always jump to Christmas, right?
Okay.
But as I see now, look, when I was growing up, now I sound like the old man, we used to walk to school with no shoes. But when I was coming up, the NBA owned Christmas, okay?
Really?
No one messed around with Christmas. That was an NBA day. Now, though, I'm going to read you the Christmas Day sports slate. Oh, my God. No one disturbed me on Christmas Day. Not even you, Santa. Leave me alone. I'm watching sports and gambling heavily and drinking eggnog at noon.
So you're getting nothing.
Pretty much. Coal, a lump of coal. Again. Noon, Cavs at Knicks at Madison Square. 1 p.m., Cowboys at Commanders. Sign me up. 2:30, Spurs at Thunder. 4:30, I'm drunk by now, Lyons at the Vikings. 5 p.m., your guy, Cooper Flagg, Maine's finest. Mavs at Warriors. 8 p.m., Rockets at Lakers. 8:15, just 15 minutes later, kickoff for Broncos at Chiefs in Arrowhead. And then the nightcap, I'm sure I'll be passed out by then. 10:30, Timberwolves at Nuggets. That's Christmas Day.
You got me with Broncos Chiefs on that day.
Woo!
Everything else
you could do without, I'm watching all those. No Celtics
There's no
on
Celtics
Christmas.
on Christmas.
That hurts.
Prioritize.
You notice I didn't say Celtics. But I would have had to stay sober for that game. So I'm cool.
It still worked out in your favor.
I don't have to talk about any of that. I mean, I do, but not like I would the Celtics. So I can be drunk as hell for these games.
You get to really enjoy your Christmas and counteract the coal. It makes sense. I'm glad that it lined up perfectly for you. Broncos Chiefs, though, yeah, you really sold me in on that one. I will give love to, again, wanting to see what Cooper Flagg does. So.
Well, that's at 5. So
Yeah.
listen, I'm having a party that day, clearly, as y'all can see. So
It fits my eating schedule for Christmas, honestly. You know what I mean? Like, you're not bothering me at certain times that I just really want to be focused on the food that I get twice a year.
At what month, as you look at the schedule, what month will you check out of the Celtic season because they're so bad?
Oh.
February? March?
February.
When's it going to be too much where you say, I can't watch this damn team? They are terrible.
December?
Or do you think you'll ever get there? December? Damn, that's fast. I think by March.
I only say that because they're gonna have a short string with me this year, only because if they go on losing streaks and stuff like that, my attention pivots because
you're all Bruins.
It's all hockey.
Yeah, you're all
hockey.
Bruins all the time.
Yeah, you either gotta impress me and keep my attention, or we're out.
I'm a cusser, so I feel like I'll be cussing them out all year, and then I'll get tired of dog cussing them by March.
Yeah.
Towards the end of
I feel like you're going to live for the emotional roller coaster they're going to put you on.
I think so.
Yeah, I think that fits the bill.
I pretend I don't like the emotional roller coaster, but I'm so toxic, I'm always on the damn roller coaster. As soon as I get off, I'm like, I get back in line to get back on.
It makes you feel alive. I don't judge you.
You should. 617-790-0928. Call us. We want to hear from you on the Celtics schedule. Are there any games that pique your interest? Are you like me on Christmas Day and you can't wait for all these sports even though the Celtics aren't involved?
Did you love the Stop and Shop schedule? I must know.
You're killing me with the Stop and Shop.
It looks exactly like my Stop and Shop. I know where they did that. I do.
Coming up here on Boston Has Entered the Chat, we'll explore what's trending in the world of sports. Whew. Next, right here on Boston Has Entered the Chat. Stop and shop.
One big round world. Yeah, that looked like, I recognize that produce. When they got to the onions, was that April? The April onions, I was like, hey, I need some of those.
Macintosh apples.
Yeah, for the white chicken chili I'm about to throw down on.
Oh, yeah. Time now for what's trending in the world of sports. Yeah. We start with Mike Vrabel. Yet again, more fisticuffs. And what do you know? Your head coach is in the middle of it all, in the middle of the scrum. Every time you look up, anytime there's a fight at these open practices, these scrimmages, whatevs, look at him. Big dog. Mike Vrabel right in the middle, like, big junkyard dog. You gotta love it.
What's one of the top evaluations when people fight? I mean, usually in a cage, it's their groundwork. You know,
Facts.
he's got some good groundwork going for him. So
ground and pound from the
taking off the
Bravester.
football analysis hat and looking at the UFC, I'm like,
I know.
All right.
I understand.
Lower body, his center of gravity is good.
Yeah, I understand all of this, but like, I get it. Your team's tough. You're setting the tone. You're leading by example. I understand why he jumps in these piles, but I'm just like, bro, you gotta chill, man. You're not getting any younger, and one of these guys could hurt you.
I think that's what he's showing us, though.
Braves.
That's what he's showing us. I think he could bring the testosterone and the creatine down like a smidge. But I think he's letting everyone know, I just turned 50 yesterday. I can still grapple. Like, I want to ask Vrabel what he was like as like 16. Like, what was 16-year-old Braves
He
like?
was chewing on rocks, stuffing nerds in lockers. Guaranteed. Meathead.
I would have loved him.
I love to bring the creatine down a notch. That's hilarious.
You gotta be
That's
right
very
on
funny.
your, like, you gotta make sure you're hitting your creatine doses just right after you hit like past 30. At least that's what I've been warned about, you know?
Hey, I will say this though, in all seriousness, this team is tough. Like, I think at some point you do take the mentality or the identity of your head coach, and that's what this is, right? Like, this team now, they're seeing their guy jump in these fights, and they're like, yeah, we ain't scared of nobody.
He talks it.
Right.
Exactly. Like he said, aggression, effort, finish. I wonder what his finish was on that ground grapple that he had going on there. But everything that he's said from the platform, he has emulated in these practices. Now, all jokes aside, like if we get to October and November and we're talking about Braves being in any sort of pileups, it's just like, again, calm it down. You don't have anything to prove. I'm glad that you are in great shape for 50. Happy belated.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think right now it's just setting the tone. He's known as a player's coach. And honestly, we don't know what's really popping off when these guys, you know, when the tensions start rising and everybody starts getting, you know, emotional. They're hot, they're exhausted, and they're going against an aggressive team. So I think that's just one of those kind of like mano-a-mano pissing contests.
It definitely is. I mean, even being there last week when it was the Commanders, I think a lot of times these teams get tired of hitting each other. So when you bring in another team, of course, like, it's on because what are you going to do against your teammate?
And you can't really go full throttle against your own team.
And you're not going to fight them.
It's probably like a transfer of built-up energy kind of thing, too.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Again, just bring the creatine levels down slightly.
Exactly.
Just a skosh.
I think that his scoop's a little heavy, that's all.
Well, speaking of scoops being heavy, you know what I like drinking? Beer. Alex
You
Bregman's
pivot from creatine to beer?
Yes.
We got to check in on Travis.
Some guys get gains from creatine. I get it from hops and barley. Bregman's beer is good, but this bartender is taking forever. That's a tweet from Joey there. So there's Bregs at Sam Adams. I love this. He has his own Bregman beer. I need it injected into my veins.
What a guy to have this too. Like, to see the smile on his face, I wish that we would have like cropped in tighter to the Bregman smile. Also, shout out to Chris there for the tweet.
He's
but
very happy.
I feel like this is the right guy to have a beer. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, he's what did we say the beer breakdown was of it?
It's a citrus pale ale for those who care. 5.8 percentage. So to give you a little something. I'm going to get one right after the show.
I definitely want to try it.
Sam Adams, what time y'all open? I'm on the way.
Well, didn't you say that they know you?
They do, first name basis.
Okay.
Hey, Trav. They don't even say my full government.
So just make sure
hey, Trav.
make sure
same? Yes.
They got the change up. No, not same.
Well, now it'll be the Breggy.
There you
Hit
go.
me with the Breggy brewski. That's what I call it.
The Breggy brewski.
Let me get a Breggy. I talk
It'll
like
be nice
this,
to see if it gets me back into beer. Like, I liked beer in college. college, but I was Blue Moon.
Okay, wait, but there is an avenue where we can get you back into the brewski wooskies?
Maybe.
She didn't say no. You're
not a
telling me
no.
there's a chance. Hey, Braggs, I'm going to try your beer. I'll get back to you, man.
Yeah.
Maybe I should go and just, like, check in with him this weekend.
I
The
mean,
Marlins series.
I
Be like,
think-
hey, man, I tried your beer.
I think all of us need to check in this
Yeah?
weekend at Fenway. Yeah.
I thought you were
got the-
hibernating.
I know. I go back and forth. Like, clearly,
Now
I'm
you're working?
bipolar. No, I'm not working. If y'all see me at Fenway, it's for funsies. You got the Durant lookalike going down today, I believe, and then you know, considering the anticipated whooping, we want to see the Red Sox put on the Marlins.
Whooping.
Let's see how much sleep I get. I might slide through.
All right, here's what else is trending. I saw this on ESPN. It's a fan misery index. I was like, what is this? Then I clicked on it. It's a series of questions they ask you. You answer them. So we put all the New England teams, of course. So ESPN released a fan misery index. The lower the number in the rank, the least miserable you should be as a fan. So we punched in all the New England teams here. The Red Sox ranked 27th. The Bruins ranked 22nd. The Pats, 31st. Celtics, 28th. So this is good. Translation, we got it damn good around here, the city of champions. There was a state-by-state breakdown of misery, and unfortunately, as you saw there, my home state of Maryland, miserable.
Did we see Florida on there?
Thank you, New England, for taking me in.
Did we see Florida in the state
Can we
of
get
misery?
that
Can we get that back one more time?
Florida can't be in there. They just got a damn Stanley Cup. 2 of them.
We got well, I can't say we.
Right?
There's a lot to
Florida's got to be in good
into
shape
it.
right now.
I would assume so, but it's nice to know that New England is in a good state and is going to be in a better frame of mind. I know that there's a lot of breath holding heading into all of the upcoming seasons.
Okay,
yeah,
so
Florida's chilling.
Yeah,
right?
Florida's chilling. Florida's chilling. Maryland not so much, but Florida's chilling. All right, so yeah. I mean, they got a Stanley Cup. You're good.
No, I think that we got.
Are they miserable? Florida's miserable? Hold this here, Greg. How are you miserable? You just won a cup. I understand Maryland. I understand DC. I understand Jersey and some of these other losers.
You want to know what's wrong with Florida? Because the Florida Panthers. That's
what do you mean? They won the cup twice.
Yeah, but then the Lightning don't like this.
Oh, there's like infighting.
Tension. Yeah, there's like in-state battling going on. But you know what?
God.
I got up north just in time.
Yeah, we both did. Maryland they've been in, they're having tough times. Since
Like knowing that I'm meant to be in one of the happiest states, like that's going to translate into my weekend, actually.
It's funny too, like when you walk around, it doesn't feel that happy. You can get cussed out around town.
Really fast, really fast. Like try saying something positive or optimistic. In the midst of the unknowns of certain things, it's just like,
I swear
what hill did you fall down?
This happened to me just yesterday. Swear to God, true story. Someone's crossing in the crosswalk. The light turns green.
Did they have the walking man?
No, the light turned green. They weren't supposed to be walking, but they were. It was a human being in the middle of the crosswalk, right? I'm first in line, so I wait because I'm a gentleman and a scholar, right? The car behind me, I'm like, yo, there's a human being right here. I turn around like this, like, can't you see there's somebody right there? It's terrible out here, yo.
Sometimes New York bleeds in the sense the attitude bleeds over.
I know.
But
I'm gonna go get a Breggy beer.
We're gonna carry the happy.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a Breggy beer and feel better about it. John Lyons of WEEI next, right here on Boston Has Entered the Chat. Roll with us. Welcome back to Boston Has Entered the Chat. For all my beer drinkers out there, we were just talking about Bregman's beer at Sam's. I was right. It is a pale ale. It's a citrusy pale ale, 5.8% for those of you interested in things like that, like I am. So I was correct. Speaking of beer, someone I would love to have a beer with, my man, John Lyons of WEEI joins us. How are you doing, my friend? Welcome to the program.
It's a pleasure to be here, finally, to meet you in person.
I know,
Casey.
I was just about to say, messaging each other.
Yeah,
exactly, and obviously nice to see you again.
You can't get enough of me.
I really
honestly
can't. We were just on the radio, a week ago?
A week,
now
yeah.
we're back.
You're not high on yourself. That's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens. What do you want me to do? I have that effect on people. So let's talk Red Sox here. Obviously now, back at Fenway, thank God. I mean, look, Casey and I talk about this every morning. If you're going to win in the playoffs, you have to be able to win on the road. I understand that. But there is nothing better than this team at Fenway. And the results prove that. So here they are back at home this weekend. Let's preview it. What are you anticipating this weekend from these Red Sox?
Yeah, and you mentioned at Fenway. It's a place that they've had a losing record in the last couple of years. They're finally playing well there again this year. And this is a point in their schedule. Their remaining strength of schedule, 21st. They should be able to make some ground here in the wild card. They're a game and a half up. And we talked a lot, you and I, and really everyone that's a Red Sox fan, after the All-Star break, right? They had those 9 games, the Cubs, the Phillies, the Dodgers. They just had another stretch like that. They had 6 against the Astros, 3 against the Padres. Those are both World Series contending teams. And I think you look at this road trip, they go 2-4, hoping for a little bit better. That Saturday night against San Diego was a missed opportunity.
Sure.
But now they're coming back and they're playing a team in the Marlins that it's a team you should be able to take 2 out of 3 from, at least, if you're going to be a playoff team, much like when they played Kansas City last week, a team that you were able to take 2 out of 3 from. So I think they're heading into this series, obviously not as good as we maybe would have hoped coming off that road trip, but this is now the point in their schedule where they should be able to really, I think, make some ground in that wild card lead.
Yeah, I mean, Case, you can go ahead, but as you say that, I'm just looking at the schedule. Other than going, obviously, to New York to take on the Yankees, which is a huge series, you have a lot of Orioles, you have a lot of Pirates on the schedule, Diamondbacks, Athletics. I mean, they should beat the hell out of these.
We're talking about teams that sold at the deadline, right, that you're now playing coming. I mean, you look at the Marlins this weekend, like Sandy Alcantara, he's a big name. His ERA is 6.5 this year, right? And you look at Saturday, they have Quantrill over 5 ERA. Like, this is a team they should be able to score some runs against. The Marlins, they don't pitch well. The Marlins are kind of weird in that, like, they're 9th in batting average, 17th in runs, so they'll get guys on base and not score.
Right.
So this is, again, a team that I think going into the weekend, you should feel confident that you can take at least 2 out of 3 from it. I think if you're going to be the team we think the Red Sox can be, you should be able to take 2 out of 3.
Let's stick with that for a second. The team that we think the Red Sox could be, because yesterday, actually all week, we were talking about the fact that if you throw 3 different scenarios, pitching, run support, there was a few other ones in the mix, and you throw it in a hat, we never know which one is going to kind of be the complication in certain series for this Red Sox team. So what do you need to see out of the Red Sox versus the Marlins to have a little bit more confidence to be like, okay, we might have our issues, but we're strong enough in this manner to continue prevailing forward?
I think it's kind of taking care of business, if you will, and that beating a team 2 out of 3 or maybe sweeping that you should beat, that you are better than. I mean, again, Marlins team, they're 58-63 and they have a losing record on the road. Like, the Red Sox should be able to beat this team at Fenway Park. And you look at the good teams, Casey, whether it's Detroit, whether it's Houston, the Red Sox just saw, or all those great teams in the NL, they beat the teams they're supposed to beat, right? It's not just the 9-game stretch against the Cubs, Phillies, and Dodgers. It's not just the 9 games against the Astros and the Padres. Can you take 2 out of 3 from Kansas City like they did? Can you beat up on the Rockies and Nationals like the Red Sox did? So can they now continue that as they head into a second half of August that I think is a very winnable stretch for them, the second half? I mean, if they have, I don't know the exact number, let's say they have 15 games left, should be 10-5, 11-4 really the second half of August, if, again, they're going to be that playoff team that so far this season they've looked like.
I want to ask you about Fenway because I'm looking at the records now. They're 27-34 on the road, 39-22 at Fenway.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I said this to Casey. I think whoever has home field throughout in the American League's going to the World Series. How important is home field advantage for these Red Sox?
I think it's really important, especially in the AL, because the AL is so wide open. Because you look at the NL, the Dodgers, Padres, Phillies, Mets, all those teams, the Brewers, they could all win the World Series. It's going to be a dogfight in the NL. Whereas the AL, I think the Red Sox are very matchup dependent. Like, if they got into an ALDS or an ALCS against the Blue Jays or the Yankees, I would pick the Red Sox there. But if it's the Tigers and they don't have home field advantage, and that's a Detroit pitching staff that has an ace in Skubal who's just as good as Crochet and has Casey Mize and Reese Olson, who are all-star caliber guys, or Houston, who we just saw, obviously they have 2 all-star caliber pitchers in Valdez and Brown. I think you want to have home field advantage if you play those 2 teams. Like, to me, it's important there.
Where do you weigh in on division or wild card? Because I'm a guy who says I'd rather them be a wild card team just because of the history I've seen in recent years of the wild card teams. They do better than the division winners. Where are you on that, though?
It's really interesting because you go back to last year, the Dodgers, who were the best team in the league, won the World Series. They played the Yankees, right? 2 division. But prior to that, you had the Diamondbacks playing the Rangers in the World Series. Diamondbacks team that won 84 games. So my biggest thing is I want them healthy heading into the playoffs. And I know that sounds obvious, but you think specifically to the Red Sox. Crochet has already pitched more innings this year than his career high. Buehler's obviously had injury issues in the past, right? Bayo has played a full season before, but he's never had a full, consistently good season. And we've really seen since June 1st, Bayo pitch really well. But can he be fresh heading into October? We saw Chapman leave a game against the Dodgers a couple weeks ago with some back tightness. Can he be fully healthy going into the playoffs? And, of course, their lineup as well. So I think for a team like them, health and rest is more important. So if that means they're a wild card, but they feel better going in, I'm fine with it. If they win the division and can take their foot off the gas the last series of the year, whatever gives them the most rest and health, I'm okay with.
All right, pinpointing pitching for just a second, because we talked about the fact that they should get 2 out of 3 from the Marlins. Alcantara on the mound, but 1-1 versus the Red Sox, 1.38 ERA. So sometimes things can sneak into the mix. Let up 5 runs in 5 innings in his previous start. A couple guys can have themselves a day or evening, one would say. I'm looking at Wilyer Abreu, but how do you think that we can make sure we avoid the cold bat situation that we just saw closing out the previous series?
I think the guy to look to, and I've been so impressed with him since he came up, is Roman Anthony. And he's got, and you guys talked about him earlier in the week. He has the plate presence, it feels like, of a 10-year vet.
He really does.
This year, he's drawn 32 walks this year, 17 of them after the All-Star break. That's the 4th most in baseball. Right? So this is a guy that great plate discipline. And I think when you're facing a guy in Alcantara who, you're right, does have a good history, but missed all of last year with Tommy John surgery, has been inconsistent this year. A couple weeks ago against San Diego, 7 shutout innings. He was great, but then he's had games where it's 4 earned runs, 5 earned runs. So can you get guys on base and make him work a little bit extra? And same thing with Quantrill on Saturday. Can you make those guys work a little bit extra? And you mentioned Abreu, who right now it's easy he's their best power hitter. I mean, leads the team in home runs. And since obviously Devers was traded, he's been their best power hitter. Can you get guys on base ahead of someone like Abreu, ahead of someone like Bregman? I think
it's going to pay out.
Exactly. I think that will be kind of the key, is can you get guys on base early in the game and kind of work that, because it's also a Miami bullpen, 19th in ERA. Not a very good bullpen. Can you get to that bullpen as well?
I think you're being kind. The Marlins suck, as far as I'm concerned. They should sweep this damn
I'm just trying to be nice.
I know.
At 8 a.m.
I know.
We talked about that bowl where you don't know what surprise is going to come out. So we've got to play both.
They are Jekyll and Hyde for sure. Let's go back to pitching. If you only had 2 options, and I said to you, do you trust this pitching staff? Trust being one word, or sketchy being the other, which would you select?
So I would lean towards trust. And a lot of it, so Crochet has been a Cy Young candidate all year. And Bayo since June 1st has been great. Giolito's been really good. I mean, he's been a little shaky the last few starts. But on the whole, the last couple months, to me, it's the Red Sox bullpen. I mean, we're talking about top 5 in bullpen ERA. And last year, they were 24th in bullpen ERA. So the starters have been better this year. We're talking about a Red Sox team that has almost as many quality starts this year that they had all of last year. So their starters are going deeper in games, and their bullpen, though, to me, that's the key, is now when they have a lead, you feel confident, whether it's Weiser, whether it's Slayton, whether it's Chapman at the end of games, you feel confident they're going to hold that lead. And I don't know about you, because I can't remember the last time I felt really good about the Red Sox bullpen. It's been a while, but this year I do, and I think that's why, to me, I have a higher level of trust in them than even just this time a year ago.
I agree. Look, Bayo and Giolito both, you brought them up of how they've been solid all year. Giolito in his last one, not great, but there is enough trust built in there. May and Buehler specifically, I've begged on this very show, just be solid. You don't need to be great. Just give us serviceable 6 innings, give up maybe a couple runs, and then, knock on wood, these bats show up where you get the run support, and that should be just fine. I don't think necessarily the starters outside of Crochet have to be great. You just have to be serviceable enough to get to that strong bullpen, and they should be in good shape. In theory.
And I think if you look forward to, let's say, a playoff series, right? Crochet, you feel pretty confident he'll win you at least one game.
He's the ace. He's an ace.
If not 2. Right? And, of course, again, matchup dependent, because if you face Detroit, him and Skubal might even each other out. It's just what worries me, Travis, is who's the game 2 starter, because Bayo's been really good since June 1st. But we haven't seen it for a full year. Giolito, I think there's inconsistencies there. He's been really good June and July, but this is a guy that missed last year. End of 23 was not good. And then you mentioned May and Buehler. I feel like if you get one good start out of them every week and a half, 2 weeks, like every 2 times through the rotation, if you get one good start out of them, you feel pretty good. So that's just my only concern. Like, I feel really good about Crochet in a game 1. I would feel great about Bello in a game 3. But I don't know who's that game 2 guy, and then game 4, is it Crochet again, Buehler,
Actually, I love that you bring that up because I think a couple days ago we were talking about the fact that a week ago, Cora was talking about still kind of dialing down the schedule for these pitchers.
Sure.
Like, are we kind of at crunch time now for figuring that out? Because then we're talking about Giolito being so dominant when it comes to those earlier starts in the day and stuff, and finally figuring out his schedule. Things get a little loose on the road during that night start. Now we have another one coming up. Like, are we kind of in crunch time with making these decisions?
It's a great point, and I think that's where it goes back to this weekend series being one of those that's really important. Because let's say you don't take 2 out of 3. Let's say the Marlins take 2 out of 3, or God forbid sweep you. Well, then maybe you have to push Crochet and Bello a little bit more later in August or in September. Whereas if you win these series, then, and we've seen them, they came out of the All-Star break giving Crochet extra rest. I think that's the smart thing. Sounds like Alex Cora has talked about this on WEEI. They're going to continue to do that, and I think that's the smart way to go. And guys like Giolito, who, again, missed all of last year, I think you're going to have to give those guys some extra rest. Maybe late in August and September, they go with some sort of 6-man rotation, or you see extra bullpen games. Because as I said before, more than most teams, you want to enter this postseason healthy if you're the Red Sox, because they just have so many health and really durability questions in this rotation. As good as it's been, and I said before, I trust him, but I think you want to set yourself up as well as possible. So it's a great point.
John, I'm going to tell you, talking this out with you too, I think it's Brayan Bello. I think he has to be the X factor here. When you ask who's the number 2 pitcher, it has to be him. First of all, he's young. Secondly, I like when the spotlight's on him, it does seem like he shows up. He has a winning record against the Yankees. We're going to see him against them coming up, too, in that series. But, I like the kid. I think he needs to be the X factor, even down the stretch. We talk about all this rest. This is a guy who needs to be the workhorse. Bello now, I think, if he can really come into himself at the end, at the stretch run here, that could be the X factor come playoff time, I think.
Yeah, and I think he's the guy they're going to have to lean on because they didn't add anyone significant at the trade deadline. No offense to Dustin May.
Right.
They're going to have to lean on him, and he's an interesting guy in that in the past, poise has been a big problem with him. And he'd give up a couple walks or a couple runs, and it would get in his head, and he would get frustrated. And next thing you know, go from 2 walks to 4 runs, or 1 run to 3 runs. He's been much better about that this year, but he hasn't pitched in October before. So how is he going to handle that? So if he gets into ALDS game 2 and he gives up a walk and then there's an error, and then how does he handle it? Does he, or is he fully past that? Because it feels like regular season Bello is past that.
Yeah.
Right.
But we just don't know with the playoffs. Because I think you're correct. That's going to be the guy they're going to have to, if they're going to win an ALDS against a good team, whether it's Houston, Detroit, or an ALCS, if they get that far, he is going to be.
He's the guy.
He's going to have to be.
I think so,
I think almost as good as Crochet in a series like that.
Yes, that's the 1-2 punch. And then the rest of the guys are complementary.
Exactly.
That's right. 617-790-0928. Call us. Talk Red Sox with us. When we come back, John stays with us. We're going to break down Patriots preseason game number 2 against the Vikings, don't you know? We'll do that here next on Boston Has Entered the Chat. Roll with us. Welcome back into the chat, and we saw this earlier in this fine television program. Mike Vrabel, yet again, getting involved in yet another skirmish with this football team. There he is, all up in it, pulling guys off. Hey, back up, would you get back? Calm down, I mean, Vrabes, you gotta calm down, bro. You don't play anymore. Coaches don't do this, man. They don't get in and mix it up, Vrabes. Relax. You're gonna get hurt.
Well, I think the other coaches' backs are probably hurting at this stage in their life, so they maybe just can't afford to get into the nitty-gritty. Yeah, they're like, I missed my yoga lattes on Saturday. Like, if I get in that pile, I'm not coming out. Where Braves is like, that creatine hit.
Yo, that workout, you can buy in Pilates and yoga lattes. That workout is crazy.
That's a certain age bracket.
That's a real thing?
I'm not there yet.
Like water aquatics, all that?
Oh my gosh, that's a
real
specific age bracket.
I'm a jazzercise guy.
Are you doing yoga lattes, John?
No.
Okay.
He didn't even entertain it. No. Do not put my name on that.
No misconceptions here.
None.
When you see the head coach, John Lyons, WEEI, everyone, when you see the Patriots head coach getting involved like that, what do you think?
And you and I saw that against Washington
Yeah, we
last
did.
week at the joint practice. So it's not the first time,
No.
as you mentioned. Look,
So you got to see it live and
Yes.
and
right, live and on video. I think it's an instinctual thing, like he's just going in to break it up. Now, do I want the head coach of the Patriots being a super hardo all the time? No, but I think Vrabel's proven, if you look at his time in Tennessee, he wasn't really that guy. He was a calm coach during games. And not that he wouldn't get excited, but you look at those Tennessee teams, a lot of times are very well prepared, smarter than their opponents, did better in the key situations, operated with poise. I mean, it's a team in 2021, Vrabel's Titans, that went 6-3 without Derrick Henry, right? Adapted well. So, again, if he's doing this in a November practice, and we're kind of talking off air about that, if he's doing this in a December 15th at practice or something, okay, all right. That's but a couple times in camp, especially in the joint practice, I don't think it's the end of the world.
I also think there's a certain, we always say this in sports, no matter what sport it is, where teams take on the identity of their head coach.
Sure.
So obviously, if you have a tough guy like that,
aggression, effort, energy, teamwork.
I mean, all of that, he's a walking billboard for all of it. So for that, I kind of get it that the team should, in theory, take on his mentality, right?
Yeah, and can he combine that with also being really well prepared and outsmarting opponents? Because what did we say for 20 years here, right? During the dynasty, Patriots were always the most prepared team. They would operate the best in key situations.
They knew the answers to the test.
Exactly. And Vrabel, to his credit in Tennessee, a lot of times it felt like that. So can he combine this physical edge, and off some of it's just he's a huge guy.
Sure.
Right? I mean, how many head coaches in the NFL are 250 pounds?
Nah,
right?
it's a big cat, man.
Right?
Again,
he looks like he can
not
still
hurting,
facts.
feeling good, in shape,
Right. So can he combine that with the Patriots being smart? And I think he can. I mean, obviously, we won't know that till Halloween, till Thanksgiving, kind of get into the season. But it feels like at least the training camp practices that I've been at, I know you've been at some as well, it feels like they have a pretty good plan. They're operating with a strategic mindset, offensively, defensively. And it hasn't all been perfect. They had a tough couple days in Minnesota practicing.
Yeah, they did.
But on the whole, you kind of watch them in practice and you feel like, okay, they're headed in the right direction. Maybe they're not going to contend for a Super Bowl this year, but they're headed in the right direction.
Yeah.
I got one thank you and one question, starting with a thank you on mentioning what he did in Tennessee, because we had somebody who was like, you're crazy. Braves has done nothing. And I'm like, this is wild. Like, you can actually
You got Ryan
Google
Tannehill
it
to the
and
AFC
figure it out.
Championship
Ryan
game.
Tannehill.
That's pretty, I mean, one coach of the year.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, Derrick Henry, that was it.
And then when you didn't have Derrick Henry, as you just pointed out, still found
won.
success, which, you know, whatever.
Oh, also beat Belichick in a playoff game.
And
Can
Brady.
we talk about
Brady's
that? And
last
Brady.
game.
That too. Just keep.
And by the way, the
keep
next week
stacking
after that,
it.
went into Baltimore and beat Lamar Jackson, the number one seeded Ravens.
That's right.
This is a guy that he's won big games with rosters that were not as good as his opponents.
No hot air here, which perfectly pivots us into, you talked about his smarts, and you're going up against an aggressive defense. We've seen all the things throughout the joint practices up in Minnesota. Like, can we trust that there's going to be a strategic approach to this preseason game? Because what we really need to see is how well do they adjust, knowing that they're going to be kind of outmatched by their opponent.
You could make the case that Brian Flores and this Vikings defense is the toughest opponent the Patriots will face all year.
Yes.
I mean, they won 14 games last year, and I know they lost early in the playoffs, but he's, I think, the best coordinator in the NFL, Brian Flores.
Yeah.
Kevin O'Connell's a good head coach. McCarthy's a rookie, well, essentially a rookie. He missed all of last year. But there's a lot of talent on that Vikings team, offensively, defensively. So I wasn't shocked that the Vikings were better than the Patriots in these joint practices. Now, would I have liked to have seen the Patriots be better? Yeah. And I think that's where this preseason game tomorrow, Kasey, comes in. Can the Patriots be better than they were in these joint practices? Because it felt like in the joint practice against Washington, the Patriots were really good, and they built off that in the preseason game. And they were great in the preseason game against Washington. Can they take a subpar performance against a great team in the joint practice against Minnesota and build on that and at least be decent in the game? So, look, again, we're not setting the bar super high here. We're not saying they're going to win a Super Bowl, but we're talking about a team that's won 8 games combined in the last 2 years. So can they at least be on the same field with a Super Bowl contender and kind of belong there? You know, if not be better, can they? Because against Washington, I felt they were better in the joint practice and the preseason game. Obviously, they won by 30.
Right.
Minnesota was much better than the
Different
Patriots the last 2 days. Can they make up some of that ground in a preseason game, especially along that offensive line?
Bro, I wanted to accuse you of a hot take with that. Vikings is better than any defense they face. But looking at their schedule as we speak, there are some decent defenses here. Obviously, Steelers always. Bills are always formidable, although not as good as they were. Bucks with Bulls always. Jets, solid defense. Giants, Ravens. But the Vikings are right there with all of them, and you could argue better.
Yeah, just as good, if not better.
You could argue better.
And one thing, and this is a credit to Brian Flores, He's not one of those vanilla preseason coaches. He'll go right at people, blitz, do all kinds of crazy things.
That's good, though.
I think it is good, especially when you have young players on your offensive line and their offense in general. It's a second-year quarterback, rookie left tackle, probably a rookie left guard.
Yeah.
Travion Henderson's a rookie who's going to have a big role. You have so many young guys. They're going to play huge roles. And even Garrett Bradbury, who's not a young guy, but he's a new guy. Stephon Diggs, new guy. So many young guys and new guys, they're going to play big roles. You want to get tested early on in the preseason.
That's right.
You want to get tested multiple times because Max Crosby in week 1 is going to be just like Jonathan Grenard in the joint practice against Will Campbell.
Told ya.
That's what you said. Casey's losing
maniac.
sleep thinking about Crosby against that offensive
I love
line.
a maniac. I love a maniac.
And he is. And that's at Ashton Genty's first game. Pete Carroll's a Super Bowl winning head coach. I mean, week 1, you're going to be tested right out of the gate. If
Screw the Raiders. Look, Casey and I have this theory. We think the Patriots defense will carry them at least that first month of the season while the offense kind of gels, figures it out, all those young guys. That takes time, right? I think the defense will carry this team, no problem. You got the Raiders. I know you guys are giving them props. I ain't. I think the Patriots win that game. You go to Miami. They're softer than baby poop. You get who? The Steelers week 3. That's here. Aaron Rodgers is still trying to figure it out. Is he sober? When he came out of the woods, is he still on shrooms? We don't know. I mean, honestly, Carolina here, then you go to Buffalo, it gets tougher. I think that first month of the season, this defense is going to carry this team.
Yeah, you look at the opponents, like you mentioned the Raiders. I think that is a more difficult game than you're giving it credit for.
And the Steelers, because even if Rodgers shows up with the Indian smoke and all the other things,
Mike
like they're going to
Tomlin's
try to
still
run
Aaron
the ball.
Rodgers.
Yeah.
Well, he's Aaron Rodgers, and they're going to try to run the ball down this team's throat.
And that's a team with DK Metcalf, who just came to Foxborough last year towards the Patriots. And look, this is a defense. You mentioned 2 years ago, I know they only won 4 games in 2023. This was a top 7 defense in almost every category.
Right.
Last year, they took a step back. I think this year, they're more talented than a year ago. I think they're going to be better coached, though. Terrell Williams, Mike Vrabel, I like the scheme better than last year. So I think this is a defense. I expect them, maybe they're not going to be top 3, top 4.
No.
Can they be 9th or 10th? Can they be even 11? Like, if they can be in that 10-11 range, that'd be a big step up from last year overall. And then you're talking about maybe that can hold down the Raiders. It can hold down the Steelers. And the Dolphins are weird because going down to Miami early in the year is always brutal. But look at reports out of Miami. There are a lot of problems going on down there.
They're soft, dude.
We see it every year. I mean, how many years do they start 5-1 and end up missing the playoffs or losing the wild card?
Yeah.
They always fade.
The second it gets cold, they disappear.
They don't travel well.
I'm cold.
Exactly.
Relax on that. I was born in Miami. All
I'm
right.
being disrespectful. I'm sorry.
A load of disrespect on this Friday.
Shout outs to Florida.
Sticking with the defense for a second, because I feel like they're going to have a pretty primary test coming up versus the Vikings. We don't know how many starters are going to be involved, but I tried to make a case yesterday to say I think we're seeing a little bit more reliable depth in this defense, which will help. But also, I feel like they have an opportunity to make a statement. Somebody tried to say that J.J. McCarthy, that's false that he hasn't been having a wonky training camp. July 26th, July 30th, the amount of turnovers that he had. 5 interceptions
She got receipts.
in one practice. I'm not a clickbait girly.
Yeah.
So to say this, there's going to be an opportunity for this defense to kind of make a statement or at least present the depth that I think that they have. Is that accurate?
I think it's a great point in that where are the Patriots at in their rebuild overall? Because if you think from a coaching staff standpoint, it's year 1, right? 3rd head coach in 3 years. Vrabel's new. But from a roster standpoint, it's really on year 2.5 to 3. I think they drafted Christian Gonzalez and Keon White back in 2023. And I think they're at a point now where a lot of teams that are kind of in the middle of a rebuild, where they have plenty of quality starters, whether it's Davis, Gonzalez, Spillane, Keon White, Milton Williams, Barmore. But what's the depth, right? Like, because behind Spillane, you don't feel great about their linebackers, right? How is Craig Woodson as a rookie safety and Jalen Hawkins, who guys have been playing with the ones, who I've been impressed by?
Positive things.
Not even in the starting
lineup. I've been
lineup,
impressed by Hawkins and Woodson, but still younger guy, newer guys, right?
Yeah.
So what does that depth look like? And I think this weekend is a great opportunity, especially along the defensive line as well. We know Harold Landry and Keon White are pretty good players. What's the depth beyond them? Because you get into a 17-game season. What separates the good teams from the bad teams?
Depth.
It's depth. I mean, look at the Eagles that won the Super Bowl. Yeah, Jalen Carter's a future Hall of Famer, but then they also had Josh Sweat and Milton Williams, all these other guys. You look at names left and right. So what is the Patriots' level of depth? So I think that's something, to your point, I'm watching really closely, not just tomorrow, the rest of the preseason, and really the first couple months of the season. What does the wide receiver group look like in real game action beyond Stephon Diggs, beyond Demario Douglas? What do those things look like? You know, if Will Campbell plays pretty well at left tackle, that's great, but what is the depth on the interior of the offensive line? So to your point, I think that's a great thing to be watching for tomorrow and really going forward, because it'll speak to where they really at in this rebuild.
Okay, let's put some numbers on it. Now, if we're going win total range, I see a world in which this team could go 10-7, 9-8. I also see a world in which they go 8-9, 7-10. I don't see higher, I don't see lower. So I'm between 10 wins and 7 wins, somewhere in there. Do you make the playoffs? We'll see, right? Where are you with that range?
I'm actually right there with you.
Okay.
So to me, coming into training camp, I was at 8 wins.
Okay.
Based off what I've seen the first few weeks, I'm at 9.
Bumping it up.
And I think that's probably the ceiling for me.
Okay.
Where I'm at. And they do have a relatively easy schedule. As we know, I'm sure some teams will surprise them. But they have a relatively easy schedule. And to me, it comes down to I have trust in Mike Vrabel. I have a lot of trust in Josh McDaniels.
Okay.
I think May has been better in this training camp than I saw him all of last year. Can he limit the turnovers?
Yeah.
And like we were just talking before, they now have quality starters.
Right.
We don't know what the depth is, but I think they have enough. Like, they should beat teams like Carolina, Cleveland. Last year, they lose to Tennessee in overtime. I think you win that game this year. I think you split with Miami this year. Split with the Jets again. Like, I think those are getting. So all of a sudden, I mean, that's 5-6 wins right there.
Sure.
Can you win a few others? I think they can. And I think they're going to stack them up early in the year, because you look at later in the year, they're going to have Cincinnati, they're going to have Baltimore, they're going to have Buffalo. So can they win those games? Can they have 6 wins by November 10th?
Yeah.
Say, just throw a date out there.
They have a late bye week, too. That helps.
Right.
Too.
Yes,
I mean,
I like
these teams,
a
when you
late
get a late
bye
bye
week.
week, you can get healthy.
And I think it's going to come down to the Patriots, the Broncos, and the Steelers kind of for that last wild card spot.
I mean,
like,
look,
I think they're going to be in that neighborhood.
Bengals won 9 games last year, didn't make the playoffs.
Right, and I see, like, the Bengals being better this year, Baltimore winning that division. We know Buffalo's Buffalo.
Yeah.
And then out west, Kansas City's Kansas City. I think the Chargers are good.
Broncos.
I don't know if anything really changed for the Bengals, because they could put
Their
up
defense
points.
is
They couldn't
awful.
stop the
I
points.
just
There's
expect
so
them
much
to start a
drama.
little better than
Yeah,
last year. Like
they were
last year,
terrible.
losing to that Patriots team in week 1. That's a bad loss for Cincinnati last year.
Was that here? That was in
there.
Cincy.
16-10.
Oh, my God, bro. That's a terrible
Was I
loss.
here?
That's a terrible loss.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, I think the Patriots are going to be in that neighborhood with the Steelers, with the Broncos kind of fighting for that 7th and final wild card spot, which, if you think about it, you won 8 games total the last 2 years.
Sure.
So if you can be 8-9 wins, it's not what we're used to around here,
Right.
but it is a big step forward.
Hey, my main man, WEEI's John Lyons. We appreciate you coming on with us, waking up early and partying. Come back again, would you?
It was an absolute
Love it.
pleasure. I'd love to come back soon.
My man. All right, hey, we're going to keep partying over on Nesson Nation. Roll with us. That's it for us here on Nesson, but the party continues on Nesson Nation. Come on, Boston has entered the chat. Enjoy your Friday.